Hero News presents Hero of the Month. Each month, Hero News features a Broadway or off-Broadway performer who has been a role model and inspiration in helping the HIV/AIDS community. This month, having appeared on Broadway in the original casts of Footloose, Aida, and Wicked, and is the creator and host of Ben Cameron's Broadway Sessions, now in its 8th year at the Laurie Beachman Theatre in New York City, Ben Cameron. With your host, Michael Kavanaugh.
Hello, and welcome to HIV Hero and HERONEWS.org, Broadway Hero of the Month. Today we have a very special guest. He does it all. I don't know how we're going to get through all of this, but please welcome Ben Cameron.
Oh, that's so good. Hi, everybody.
Hey, good to see you.
Listen,
So, Ben, I'm so happy to have you here.
I am thrilled to be here. I am less thrilled with Peter Rabbit there.
Peter Rabbit really let us down.
He let us down. He's adorable.
He petered out.
This is not the first time we've been let down by somebody adorable, is it,
Yes,
Mike?
exactly.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's for sure. So our lives always kind of cross, but we've never really gotten to sit down, so I'm really excited to get
This is absolutely true. We kind of see each other at big events, and we get to say hello and have a hug, and
Yeah.
I respect what you do so much, but we haven't got a chance to actually, like, chew the fat together.
Yes, so let's talk about you. First of all,
It's my favorite subject.
3 Broadway shows. That's how you got your start. Tell me how you made it to Broadway.
3 Broadway shows. Yeah, I moved to New York City in 1996, which is a long time ago at this stage of the game. I was 18 years old, and through some connections that I had and knowing the choreographer Footloose, A.C. Ciula, who I adore, I got cast in the original Broadway cast of Footloose when I was still a teenager, which is
So you just got a
hilarious.
Broadway show right coming to New York?
Yeah, it was insane. I was going to school, and I started auditioning, which was not allowed, and I booked a couple jobs right away. And within a year, I had that first Broadway contract, and I remember jumping up and down I was on tour with the national tour of State Fair, and I remember when I got the call saying I had booked the job.
Oh,
for
wow.
Broadway. I remember jumping up and down on the bed in my hotel room, which my roommate did not like.
Was your mom all happy? Like,
Mom, my
because
mom was
she was
so
like,
happy.
She's probably like, oh my God, he's going into theater. He's never going to make any money.
I love
And look
that
what
your mom.
happened.
I love that my mom is Jewish in your mind. But I think there's something actually to that, Michael. There's something about your parents going, "Oh, he can actually make a living doing this."
Yeah.
You know, it's not just kind of some weird thing that we kind of tolerated for
Right.
18 years. So I was able to do that, and I left the Broadway company, and I went on tour with Footloose, and then I came back after tour and went into the closing company at Footloose.
Cool.
So I was there from the beginning and the end, and then went on to do Aida, and then Wicked.
Wicked, you were in the original
I was in the
Wicked.
original
You
cast
have a
of Wicked.
line in the Wicked album. Could you tell us the line?
I would love to. It's listen. I have milked this for all it's frickin' worth. When I'm hosting Broadway Con and people don't know who I am, right? They know I'm fun and they know that I'm out there and I'm being a fool, but they don't necessarily know my Broadway credits, right? So this is always the thing that I can kind of bring everybody together. Track 2. Dear Old Shiz, it's the track that you always fast forward through. There's a voice that says, "Glinda, is it true you were her friend?"
Glinda, is it true you were her friend?
That's him. Right. So if you were going to give advice to some young whippersnapper coming here, what would it be to get
Find a new dream. I'm just kidding, Peter. No, you know what the thing is about that for young whippersnappers, and I teach all over the country all the time, and it's a wonderful thing, and it kind of edifies my soul because I like to see young me inside of them. You know, I get to see, oh, that kid's like me when I was that age. But I think it's important for them to know, because I think that Broadway in New York City seems like such a faraway, impossible dream. But the fact of the matter is, all of us came from somewhere.
Right.
And we're all the weirdos from whatever town we came from that had some talent and had the audacity to believe that we could possibly be in a Broadway show someday.
Right.
And we came here. And that's what I would say to them. I would say, take a chance.
Why not?
Go for it.
That's
sure.
great. That's great. So in addition to all that, you're doing 10 years of Broadway Sessions. Tell us about Broadway Sessions.
Isn't that completely insane?
So awesome. I've been many times.
Broadway
really.
Sessions is truly the love of my life. It's I created it when I came off my last tour. I left Wicked to go on tour with Sweet Charity, where I got to kiss Molly Ringwald. And it's as good as you think.
Wow.
And I came back and I needed a creative outlet. So I was like, what do I like? I like hanging out in bars and I like talking to Broadway people. So thus was born Broadway Sessions. It's been in a couple of different incarnations throughout the years. But all in all, it's been 10 years. So coming up in June, we'll be celebrating 10 years. We're at the Laurie Beachman Theatre every Thursday night after curtains come down. We recently welcomed the cast of Jersey Boys, the cast of SpongeBob SquarePants. We did a Black History Month celebration. Once a month we do all open mic. But it really is Broadway's favorite night out. And the cool thing is that we donate a portion of the door every single week to Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS.
Her grip of romance makes you fall, so you think might as well.
Dance a tango to hell.
At least I'll have tangoed at all. The tango Maureen. Gotta dance till your diva is through.
Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, one of our partners. We love them. Please make a donation to BroadwayCares.org or BroadwayBears.com, which is coming up, our favorite thing. Let's talk about charity. You do so much for charity. Why is it so important for you to contribute all the time to this community?
It is important because if we are lucky enough to have the opportunity to play in this sandbox, in the performing arts, and get a paycheck for it, it's unheard of. It's such a magical thing. If we are lucky enough to be able to be the people to stand on stage and reflect society and reflect people's emotions for people who aren't able to do it themselves, that is such a gift. We're so blessed to do it. And it is the very least that we can do to give back to people in need. And what's really striking, and you know this firsthand, is that the Broadway community is the tightest knit community of people because they're artists. Everybody's an artist and they care so much. Everybody's an empath and everybody has raw emotions. So to help others and to put our muscle and our talent behind an organization that can help people in need, it's the very least we can do.
So Ben, we're called Hero. Who is your hero?
That's a wonderful question. I can answer this in a couple different ways.
Okay.
If I were to say who my Broadway hero is, when I was in 9th or 10th grade, in English class, we were asked to write a paper on who our hero was. And I wrote an entire paper about Terrence Mann.
Okay.
Whom I have worshipped forever and has originated more Broadway shows than anybody. But I loved him very much. And fast forward to, I think this was 2 years ago when Pippin was on Broadway. I was doing Broadway Sessions and I came out and I did my opening song and I was throwing flowers around and I finished the moment and it was about to go into my monologue at the beginning of the show. And here comes a man with white long hair in a leather jacket walking up to the stage. And he walked up to me and he grabbed me on the shoulders and he kissed me full on the lips. And it was Terrence Mann.
Wow.
And I had never met him before. And 14-year-old me just about shat a brick.
Wow, that's
Can I say
exciting.
shat?
Yes, you can.
I did. So
I don't give a shat.
Yeah, fantastic. Terrence Mann is a huge hero of mine. I also, beyond him, do you know who a hero of mine is? Kermit the Frog.
I know, it's not easy being green.
It's not easy being green.
It's not. Back to you.
My favorite subject.
So many things going on. You do this thing, we're talking about dance and we'll transition to something else, but you do this thing called the Dance Captain Attack.
Dance
so
Captain
funny,
Dance
I
Attack.
love it.
Dance Captain Dance Attack is my web series on BroadwayWorld.com. Having been a dancer in Broadway shows for many years, I think that the dance captains are very much unsung heroes of the Broadway show. These people really run the show.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way that even beyond stage management, they really are so in charge, and they know so much, and they know every nuance of every track that's on that stage. And I wanted to put a spotlight on that, and I wanted to give them a moment to be seen and heard and appreciated.
I love it.
So what we do on Dance Captain Dance Attack is we go into a studio, me and a dance captain from a Broadway show. We've done Hamilton, we've done Kinky Boots, we've done Something Rotten, we've done Cats, we've done School of Rock, to name just a few. Coming up, we're restarting the series very, very soon. Next month, there will be more episodes, including Aladdin, Come From Away, and SpongeBob SquarePants.
Awesome.
Great. So what we do is we encourage people to watch and learn along with me, the choreography from the dance captains.
That's great.
and then they can film themselves doing it and post it on Instagram.
That is an awesome idea, and so we can watch that on Broadway World. So it's coming up.
BroadwayWorld.com.
Coming up soon. So check him out, Ben Cameron, for that. So Ben, as you know, we're a site for newly diagnosed and people living with HIV. Do you have a message, especially to young people, about the importance of getting on PrEP, being safe, and staying protected?
What a miracle is PrEP.
Yeah.
I mean, that we are seeing this in our day and age. And if you are of a certain age, as I am, and certainly the generation before me here in New York City in the Broadway community, you've seen the devastating effects of HIV/AIDS. And what has kind of come beyond that, unfortunately, if I can say this and be honest, there's been a kind of a lack of concern about it to a degree with the younger generation, where it's no longer a death sentence. So I think there's been some carelessness. Do you think?
Yeah, I do agree with that, but it can be a death sentence, and I want to make that very clear that people are still dying of complications of HIV. But
Good.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Well, and I think this is the thing that's not being taken into consideration. And so I think that risky behavior has become a little bit more normalized. You know, I think there was a block of about 10, 15 years where you wouldn't dream of having sex without a condom.
Right.
And I think that that's not so much the case now, unfortunately. So I think it's a miracle that PrEP is here. I think everybody needs to know their status. I think everybody needs to, if you are sexually active, be on PrEP. Give yourself the gift of that assurance.
Right. Insurance pays for it. There's no reason if you have insurance not to be on it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
The other thing is that you can get something else, if you're on PrEP. So you also should consider using a condom unless you know the person or in a monogamous relationship, because you never know.
You're absolutely right.
And here's another thing I'm going to say one more time is, with all that aside, I just want to know that the bias against people with HIV is a terrible thing, and that do you know that you're safer sleeping with someone that is HIV positive and on medication that's undetectable than you are with someone you don't know, because we can't give it to you.
Yeah. Wow. And I think that's something people don't consider at all.
So when you say clean, it's very, very unhealthy and terrible for you to say bug-free only or disease-free only, or it's what? Because you need to be educated.
But using that terminology, bug-free, disease-free, we get into what our culture is now, which is the use of the apps.
Right.
And sex is so available to us in a way that it never was before.
Right.
Probably not since the 70s, when you used to go over to the Chelsea Pier and hang out in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
And have a good old time. But it's so available to us, and I think that allows for us to be a little bit more callous and careless in how we discuss it. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, and I think, when people say, oh, well, I'm not. Well, how do they know? Like, unless they, there's incubation periods, whatever. So you know what? Just take care of yourself. Get on PrEP if you need to, and definitely have monogamous, try and get a monogamous relationship. If you're not, then use a condom as well. And our slogan is condoms are hot. Do you think condoms are hot?
Condoms are so hot.
I agree. So Ben, I want to thank you so much for joining us today and being our Broadway Hero of the Month. Spring has sprung.
Oh, wonderful.
And I can't wait to see you do more and more things and go to Broadway Sessions. And I'm so glad we got to finally sit down.
I am so glad, too. I'm so glad we got to actually connect and get into each other's brains a little bit. This has been an absolute pleasure, and I respect what you do so very, very much. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. So Ben, if that wasn't enough, you also are a TV personality. So if that isn't enough and it's exhausting, you also do a podcast.